Hello, everyone. How is it going? Today, we have with us Daniel Matthews, founder of SAM Sensei and Daniel Matthews Media. Hey, Dan, how are you?
So good. I, I just looked at my computer and I was like, it's so good. It's Monday and I'm like really motivated, but it's not. It's Thursday. I can't
It's
believe it's
Thursday. It's
I
Thursday.
can't believe it's Thursday. Okay, never mind. It's good. Thursday's great. I can't wait.
Well, I mean, I'm excited to have you, on this series today because, like after a long time, I have somebody who is doing, something other than just running an agency and just doing SEO. I mean, like it would be great that if, you introduce yourself, for our viewers, and also please tell us more about Sam Sensei.
Sure. Um, well, my name is Daniel. Nice to meet you. And everything I pretty much do is marketing. So I have the two companies you mentioned. One is Daniel Matthews Media, and that's kind of your standard marketing full service agency. You pretty much we manage everything you need to succeed online. So landing pages and ads and SEO and it's a typical thing. And on the other side, I launched 2 months ago is the thing that you mentioned, SAM Sensei, which is super cool. And that's more of like a marketing consultancy that won't cost you thousands of dollars. It's it's insane how cool this is. So just to kind of put this in a nutshell, I've been doing the agency for 5 years or so, and you work with enough companies, you start noticing similarities, and you realize they all sort of say the same things. I'm struggling with this. We can't do that. Nothing's happening, right? Questions build off that, and you go, wow. Regardless of company size, they all have the same problems. And even if the problems are slightly different, they're all fundamental challenges. And the fundamentals don't change. And it hasn't changed since marketing was started, whenever that was, millions of years ago or something. I don't know. And I thought instead of competing with other marketing agencies, because that's what you will do, there's a little sliver of the pie in companies for their outsource solutions or whatever. And there's a huge gap between company and marketing agency or freelancers or whatever, even actually their own in-house marketing team. There's a gap. And that gap is a marketing strategist that won't cost them massive amounts of money, but will still get them the information they need on demand, essentially. And it's roadmap. So it's not just a motivational speaker you'd hire to just kind of, keep going, John, keep doing it. I mean, should we do that? People need such little encouragement. You'd be really surprised. But it's road mapping, it's actionable plans. Here's what
Right.
you need, here's where you're at, here's what we need to do. Let's organize it, and then you're gonna end up here. This is how we get there. So first focus on that. So
Right.
it's really
And they
cool.
also get to like, like chat with you like while they're executing it. It's not that you have fixed sessions with them. I mean, they get more than just fixed sessions.
Exactly. It's complete access. I don't say this, but it is essentially unlimited access. They can instant chat, we can email, schedule phone calls. Um, I mean, I think that's everything. And even on the back end, because I kind of mentioned this to you earlier, is I really don't like courses. There's something about courses I just feel like I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. I'm just not. It's not my thing, and uh, it's not a course. But on the back end, we have like a resource library. So we even passively they could access our resources and look at trainings and see how they can build offers or design a website and things they can actually use, and they're not going to be sold at the end of them, like, here's how to do this, by the way, if you want the full thing, that's going to be $4,000, swipe a card, you can get the whole thing. So um I forgot the question you asked, but yeah, it's
Yeah, I
really
mean, you
cool.
answer the question. They get access. It's not just scheduled sessions with you,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? Sam Sensei also helps businesses streamline their sales process. You said that, how Sensei came into picture because you saw all these problems with businesses. So where do you see most businesses get it wrong? And, what does your process look like?
Well, to briefly touch on the sales thing, we do offer sales support too. So you might find that your sales is not really marketing, and marketing is not really sales. It's there's a separation. But people do have a lot of sales problems. So we will coach you on that to get your sales stuff in order. And all of that is fundamental too. All the challenges they have is with that. Um, the probably usually when it comes to sales, the problem now, everyone has different problems, right? So this is not going to relate to every single person, but I think there's a couple areas that I could definitely say is a massive problem with most people's sales teams, regardless of size. The first thing is I think most onboarding for new salespeople is
Mhm.
horrific or non-existent. I mean, I've done sales jobs and their onboarding is welcome to the team, put a headset on, jump in and do it. And there's times where like you're on the phone and they're like, yeah, I do want that. You're like, oh, okay. And they're like, now what? And I'm like, I have no idea. Hey,
Right.
Bill, what do I do next? Well, we do this. Okay. Then he's like, okay, well, now we got to do this. And then I have to go, hey, Bill, what do I do now? So it's like it's this learning thing.
Right.
Um, so I think it's a training thing. And I think it's too individualized. Um, what do I mean by that? Like, it's so heavily based on performance. Like everything else means nothing. Like it's too cutthroat. And it's not bad. It's just um, there's not enough like support. And if there is support, it's really just like, hey, what are you doing? Did you make any sales yet? No. Okay. Um, it's just I think it's too much about the numbers, and it's easily lost in there.
I
Those are just
understand.
some things I've seen lately.
No, no, absolutely. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, even what I have seen is that, I mean, a lot of people believe that, they hire a good sales team and then the magic will happen from next day, right? I mean, uh,
Yeah.
it's not about that. Number one, yeah, I mean, the person has to be good in sales. He has to be a good storyteller, or, he has to be good with people. But then at the end of the day, if he doesn't understand your product well, he will never be able to sell it, right? It can't be like a straight line where you give him a script and he just says that
Yeah.
and sells it
Yeah.
off. And, I mean, you need to invest time in their trainings as well. So I totally agree with you.
Yeah, like there's definitely a lack of time invested.
Yeah, because
Uh,
a lot of businesses think of that as an investment. I mean, you hire a salesperson, you have the overheads, you have his salary, and
right.
then I mean, I remember I had taken an interview, once of a salesperson, and he told me in the interview that like a lot of interviews he had done before that, the reason he had like not join that company even if he had got the offer letter was because in the interview he thought as if the company or the employer was thinking of him as an ATM machine, that he would just insert the card and at the end he would just get out money, right? I mean, they were not interested in investing time, in actually a lot of things that is needed before you actually see those results.
Yeah, and everyone wants to be a millionaire in like 30 days. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's such huge pressure to just perform, perform, perform. I don't want to put time into you. So
Right.
it's short term, but
Just like black hat SEO.
black hat SEO. It's funny. I didn't even know what that meant until like a year and a half ago. Because I was just like, if you were just kept saying SEO, and I was like, yeah, SEO. And like, do you do white hat or black hat? And I was like, well, I like black hats more than white hats. So black hat SEO. And they're like, no, you don't ever do black hat. Now I know what it is. Yeah. And I was like, they're like, did you do black hat or white hat SEO? And I was like, well, I prefer black hats over white hats. So we do black hat SEO. And they're like, no, 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 you don't do that. No, you do only do white hat. I was like, oh, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. Yeah. Cause I don't do the SEO, you know, but anyways,
I understand. Yeah.
that joke.
I mean, on the bright side, it's good that you do not know anything about Black Hat, right? I mean, if you think of it like that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, my SEO team that I have, which is 3 people. Um, no, I mean, we follow all the Google, everything that needs to happen correctly, white hat SEO, we only do that because Google's too smart. They'll
Yeah,
just know. Also,
absolutely.
this might kind of allude into one of your other questions, but the other thing too is um, we think we're in charge, but we're really not. Google's just sort of lets you think you are. Because even if you just do SEO, whatever that is, however you like to do it, you're still going to end up in places that Google wants you to be, anyways.
Right.
You can kind of
Abs-
influence things to happen a bit, but in general, they're just putting you where they want you, anyways. You
no,
know?
absolutely. I mean, look what they're doing to, like paid PPC as well. I mean, AdWords. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it's a different discussion. Anyways.
Yeah, you have control, but not really.
Yeah, not really, not really.
Yeah.
Uh, Also, Daniel, a lot of people, struggle, like in basically, when they're trying to do lead generation and, when they're trying to basically find ways to generate leads for their business. And, a lot of people think of buying leads because, there are these services available in the market. I mean, what are your thoughts on buying leads or, data?
Oh, um, you just you just never know what you're really going to get. It's it's sort of worth doing. I mean, again, if you have a sales team and you need to feed them, then you're going to have to buy a lot of data. But you have to buy it knowing that this is essentially public information. Every data provider on Earth have the same data. There's no more existing unused data. So at some point, that data has been sold multiple times. It's generated off campaigns they ran on Facebook a year ago based on something completely different than what you're getting. So it is not at all like, I'm starting a business. I bought a list of 100 plumbers. I'm going to call them. It's not worth it. You just wasted a couple $100 probably. It's not worth it. If you have a big sales team, it might be worth it. But the thing is, like, things are so much more predictable with online marketing lately, and it's scalable. It's predictable, it's scalable, and you might as well invest the time in getting a system put together where you can just do this yourself. The leads or the people that come into your business have that understanding and context of, oh, I opted in because I'm looking for a financial advisor. And then I start talking to Financial Advising Incorporated. It's just so much better. The only thing is with lead generation, people don't know how to handle the leads,
Right.
and they think, and it's all short term. No one thinks long term, but it, it is list building. That's what it is. It's list
Right.
building. It's not it's not e-commerce. It's not like a
Yeah.
click could equal a sale type of thing. Um, so it's just different. It's lead generation is like the first starting point of your down the line. Whoa, we hit our first $1 million type thing. You know, it's down the line and it's different. But buying leads is kind of just like you're just giving them their card blindly, and hopefully you just get what you want because you're going to end up with duplicates, and it's this whole other thing. So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a good way to put it. What you said, you just blindly handing over your card, right? I mean, if you're actually doing it yourself, even if you just get that email, but if you have a system where you can then nurture the lead and but still, it came to
yeah,
you on day one, and then you are basically nurturing the lead yourself rather than just buying data from somewhere.
You're going to have to buy data though if you have a sales team. Um, the sales teams will still handle other channels that you get leads from, but if you have a big team to feed, you're going to have to buy a ton of data, and that works too. But I think at that caliber, it makes more sense. Even if you're going to send out email campaigns, which I don't really recommend doing it this way, but people do, thousands of emails per day,
Mm-hmm.
then you're gonna have to buy some data. And buying data doesn't necessarily mean from like a corporation or something, like a company. You can mine your own
Right.
data. You could go through LinkedIn. There's tons of different ways to do it, but it's nothing I would really like recommend to someone as a strategy.
Right. Dan, like you said, one thing which, kind of struck, you said that you don't suggest sending out, bulk emails. Uh, is it that because, I mean, those are like mass campaigns and you can't customize them, or is it the general idea of sending out cold emails to someone?
Um, no, it's more like no, it's more like it's just you end up getting better results
Hmm.
by creating your own internal community. You've reached out to I reached out to you, or you reached out
Hmm.
to us because you know who we are and what we do and stuff. Maybe you're not ready to buy now, but now it started off. The context is the same throughout the whole way. When you start doing bulk email,
Hmm.
cold email, I mean that works too, but that's like a pay for performance type thing. That's why you have to do so many per day, because most of it won't work. And so if you do a lot, then if you just it's the number thing. If you do a lot of it, you'll get some sort of results out of it. So it'll happen, but it's super expensive. It's not predictable. You can't forecast it. Um, it's just not worth it, because there's so much better ways to do this with creating your own ecosystem, generating your own leads, getting people in. High value content offers is a great way to do this. And then you just have a better, pure environment, ecosystem of customers and leads and all that stuff. It's so much better. But again, if you have a large sales team, you don't want to be paying them 30,000 a year and they're just sitting there. So you're going to have them cold call and buy data for that. You could do that too, though. I mean, it's not like don't do that. I mean, if you want to go knock on doors, that's good too. You should definitely do that. You know,
Right.
um, direct mail. None of that's dead. It's just we've had a
Right.
boom in online, and online is really amazing. So
Yeah. I mean, and also, I mean, I think it also is also like, the way you do it, because now even, like you have technology where if your data is pure, by pure, I mean, if you are actually getting, exact emails and data of your actual target audience, because, also sometimes what happens is people don't have actual data. So, even if they are running a campaign, right? I mean, even as an email campaign, they're not getting results, but they don't have that actual data. They're trying it. But now technology also helps you create these customized templates where, it doesn't give a feel of, a direct cold email, if you put it like that. But yeah, I mean, again, if you don't have a big team and you can actually customize it, then it's okay. But even like what I'm trying to say is bulk emails, there are templates and systems and technology available where you can actually customize it for the person as well.
yeah, you can. I'm not saying don't do it. I just wouldn't recommend doing that as like a long time scalable strategy. It's sort of just like a little bonus
I
if you want
understand.
to just invest time to do that. It's just you were just gambling at that point, but it
I understand.
works. So it's kind of like you know,
I understand. Also, I think it also depends on the industry, right? I mean, there are some industries where, one particular strategy would work, and there are some industries where maybe people don't even open their mailbox, right? I mean, uh, depends on the
yeah,
industry as well.
yeah,
Yeah. Also, Dan, I mean, how much value, do you give like remarketing, strategy, and, like what is the best way of creating a remarketing funnel?
Remarketing funnel,
Mhm.
the best way.
I mean, not the best way. I mean, see, it will depend. I mean, it has to be, it'll depend on your buyer persona. It will depend on the business.
Well,
But what I'm
I
trying
mean,
to
there is
say
a.
is, yeah, I mean, like the basic of, like the
I know you're. I know you're saying. I'm following. I mean, there is a best way. It's not like a. I don't know how to explain it. Really, it's just the reason why results don't happen at the core is everything's unorganized. Not even joking. Like the at the core, that's it. Because there's people out there. There's tons of people out there, and you can get in front of them instantly. And the reason why no one's following everything fully is because things are not organized correctly. So to make the best remarketing funnel or campaign or whatever, it's really like how organized is it? Does it make sense? Is it comprehensible? Like you want people to go from free users to paid users. Okay, what does that look like? Does it make sense? It's probably unorganized. It probably is too confusing. It's probably not clear. And you're probably just hoping that they will just do that eventually, you know? And maybe they want to, and maybe we find that they just they don't see the difference. They're like, I'm getting everything with the free. Why would I change? And we're not doing a good enough job showing them that because it's not set up right. So it's not organized correctly. So um, the best thing to do for your remarketing is figuring out where your dream buyer is at that point. Okay. So there's ways to do this. You basically target someone. You say, I'm going to target DeWood, and DeWood is looking for a Toyota Corolla. Okay. And they're not really ready to buy. And I know this because they're the kind of person I want to target and get involved with like 5 months before their lease is up. So I want to make sure that I'm hooking them up with all this knowledge and I want to connect them there. By the time they click on my ad and they go through my organized first intake funnel, let's say, whatever that is, and I spit them out this other end, now I'm assuming, because I've set this context up, they're now here. And since they're 5 months out from their lease, which I'm hoping for, and I've designed it that way, I now know that they're here. They're 5 months from the lease looking for a Toyota Corolla, most likely. And the context is they received X, Y, and Z information. So when I retarget them, I know what they've seen now. And they've seen me. So now I'm going to retarget them with information at that point. And then that retargeting, because I know they haven't taken the action yet for whatever that is, the retargeting now is going to meet them there, same temperature, and help guide them to another call to action or another point I'm trying to get them to. So it's kind of like people think it's advertisement, click, sale, and then there's a huge gap. But before they even get to the sale, there's all these things they didn't look at.
right.
Like you have to convince them. Their ad is to produce clicks, not sales. So you got to produce a click. That's convincing. The next step is you want them to, I don't know, ads, browse products. This is just an example. Don't take it seriously, but browse products. You have to convince them to do that. Then you have to convince them to put it in the cart. Then you have to convince them to click the next page and then put the cart in and all this stuff. So you have to do this the entire way through. And that's
Right.
overlooked.
And I think, yeah, I mean, you're right. Also like a lot of people, when they think of retargeting, right? Number one, they, expect to get sales on day one on their landing page as soon as they get a click, right? I mean, it
Yeah.
depends. There are services where, let's say somebody is looking for, for an electrician, so he wants him now, but, where a lot of normally the sales cycle is long for a lot of businesses. So even if he saw your information, but then what do you show him after that, right? A lot of people just bombard the like their visitors by lead gen retargeting banners, right? And then they say it doesn't work, but it's all about, okay, fine, you show them your offer or your page first, but then, like, what kind of information do you give them after that, after
Yeah,
that,
they're
after
just
that?
thinking your mindset is shop, purchase,
Right.
shop, click, purchase. I mean, that does work sometimes, but most of the time people aren't. And so the the best retargeting or marketing is when that matches the same temperature as your dream buyers. That's kind of the gist. Here's an example. Anyone can do this. Go on Google, literally type in any industry, any business, anything, literally anything. Look at the ads that you're going to see. My favorite is solar. Solar is pretty awesome. You're going to see advertisements, and they're all going to sound the same, and they're all from different companies. By the way, to get on the keyword solar, type it in. That's an expensive keyword, probably, most likely. I mean, they're all expensive, whatever. Um, they're all spending thousands of dollars to be there and compete against each other. Okay, here's the
Right.
funny thing, because companies want you to do a competitor analysis. It does absolutely nothing because they don't even know what to do with it. Okay, and actually don't even look at your competitors, just kind of forget it. You don't have to do that anymore. So you look at the Google ads, and what you'll find is they all sound the same, and they're all going to say things like this. Number one solar company, I'm in Orange County, California. Okay, number one solar company in Orange County, most trusted, 0% down. Everyone says that. Oh, here's my favorite. Solar company official site. What they're doing is they're saying, hello, we're spending $4,000 a month to just tell you that, in fact, we are a solar company. And you're like, oh, no shit. Thanks. I'm going to now look for what I want. So if you know your dream buyer and you know what they're looking for at that time, and there are more people shopping around than there are ready to buy now, then why not get them in your ecosystem early on, keep in communication, and get your sales down the line, because that's going to happen more predictably than just hoping someone's going to purchase right now, right? So imagine if you found out that people searching for those key terms that we find, there's more to it than that some of the questions they have are actually, uh, they don't even know what to do. They don't want to call solar companies because they're just going to get pushed in a wall and get sold, and then they're going to get called a lot. So let's just say they care about, if this is really dumb, if their solar panels are made out of plastic. I don't know, which they are. And that was a huge burning question. So to compete with your competitors, this is your competitor analysis. You made a Google ad that said, um, this is off the top of my head. Before you go solar, get this guide that will show you what solar panels have plastic in them from what
Right.
company, or something like that. Most likely you'll win that click because that's the temperature of where they're at. And we know this. So you can apply that ideology to literally everything.
No, absolutely. I mean, so like I told you, like we do a lot of SEO. So like link building is a part of it. So once we created a guide where we actually tried to explain our process, right? I mean, anybody with decent knowledge of SEO could actually understand. We did not give the exact templates, but it was like a complete guide. Anybody could actually implement it.
Yep.
But still, that actually became the most successful lead generation uh, resource for us at that time, because I mean, obviously, people don't want to do that themselves, right? I mean, that's why they're searching online. It's better if somebody can do it for you.
They also feel, that's the thing too. Like we know this. So we go, but you know what? We also know that they're probably willing to try it before they put the money out themselves, let's say. So why don't we just give it to them, prove them, let them give it a go, and they're going to go, oh man, this isn't working. But at that point, it's been like 30 or 60 days, and we're in contact with them, and they're going to realize this. It's stuff like that.
Right, absolutely.
That's
Well,
like the
Dan, I
mad.
mean, I really hope we had more time, but like before you go, one last question. Uh, podcasts are doing very well. I mean, what are your thoughts on podcasts as a marketing strategy?
Um, I think they're great. I that's kind of a quick answer. No, I think podcasts. Well, podcasts are super hot, but also I think the reason why podcasts are so here it is. I think why podcasts are so popular right now, and a good thing is there's a couple things. This is why TikTok is so popular because kick TikTok. I heard someone say this, and I agree. I think this
You
is
you you
totally it.
you do a lot of TikTok.
Dude, I do a lot of TikTok. TikTok is where it's at. Um, TikTok is so good because what makes it special is you can't make crappy videos. You can cut and edit. You can put music. Everything that you would normally spend thousands of dollars on to do professionally, you can do it on your phone. And it's never been easier. You can add text, voiceover, all this stuff. And essentially, it's guaranteeing that your videos won't be crappy. So you could, it's like a content producing machine. Um, Now, with that, the point of this is that's why TikTok is so great and popular. The reason why YouTube is so great is because there's no filters. You don't have 30-minute time slots. That's why television now sucks because they have to put all this information in a 30-minute time frame, and 20 and 10 minutes of that is commercials. So it's really 20 minutes. You could put a YouTube video up of relaxing music for 45 hours if you wanted to. It's insane. That's why people like it. It's unfiltered. It's raw. So, and what we found out with YouTube, I'm almost getting to the point, is people actually like long form. They'll listen to a 4-hour Joe Rogan podcast. And people were like, no one has an extension span. They only want 4 seconds to win their, it's kind of, that's partially true, but it's not really the full case. So now when it comes to podcasts, it sort of is something that came out at the wrong time. It came out too early, kind of thing. And YouTube helped the podcasts become more successful because YouTube got people, we already were, but YouTube was the first place that long form became super successful. So when podcasts started getting, podcasts are even easier to make than YouTube. I mean, now they have like Anchor. You can go on and make podcasts and distribute it everywhere. I mean, it's so easy. You just get a $20 microphone and then you're good. So anyone can do this. And then you build a Canva, you make your own little logos and stuff. So simple. So everyone's used to long form. And coming up with a podcast to use as a marketing strategy is a great idea because first of all, it's super easy. It's fun. And if you get it in front of the right people, people can really enjoy it because they already consume that kind of content like on YouTube and everything else. Like it's so easy to do it. And again, back to the TikTok thing, you don't have to get a sound engineer to make a podcast. TikTok, you don't need a movie production team to make these insane videos. Like huge companies are paying these people, kids actually, to shoot commercials on their cell phone using TikTok, the TikTok app. Don't you think they would go, no, guys, no, we're not spending $25,000. Why don't we open our own free TikTok account and figure it out ourselves? Right? It's no, because they want the kids following, and then so I think it's great.
Absolutely. Well, Dan, thank you so much for your time. It was fun chatting with you, and hopefully we'll get you uh, on our series again for more discussions.
Yeah, that would be fun. I had a great time. Um, I'm kind of like pumped up right now, so I kind of want to keep going. There has to be a part 2, I think.
Yep. Definitely, it will be.
Cool. All right.